What if Naruto built a sky-release harem with Hinata, Ino, Temari and Tenten? Part 1. Today is the day that the students of the academy will become proud ninja of Konoha after 5 years. Many families expect their children to pass their exam, especially the clans, for their success is reflected by the new generation. Hiruzen Sarutobi looked over his precious village with a kind smile on his face as he saw people starting their journey when the dawn started to disappear. The third Hokage was a man with lighter skin, gray hair. His face is gaunt, with wrinkles and liver spots of old age. He wears the standard uniform of the Hokage, the customary hat and haori with a red, full-length kimono that is tied using a white sash. These last 2 years, Hiruzen remarked that the village had become more calm, the good kind of calm. Normally, he could hear the Chunins and Jonins chasing the most hyperactive, knuckle-headed person in all Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki, but strangely the blonde seemed too quiet as he didn't see him for a very long time, which worried the old Hokage. Hiruzen thought first that Naruto was missing, but after he read a report that the young vessel did come in the academy caused the old man to think what was happening with the young blonde. The Uzumaki started to do well in classes in joy as he loses his statue of dead last to become in the top 3 with Sasuke Uchiha and Shin Hatake, but something didn't feel right. The blonde became friends with the heiress of the Hyuga clan and Kurama clan, but strangely the blonde stopped attracting attention as he stopped coming to his office to visit and ignoring the villagers. He could use his crystal ball, but for some reason he couldn't see the blonde. He quickly chased the negative thoughts as today, the young academy students will become ninja. Ninja fighting for the will of fire like his predecessor and hope that the young Uzumaki will pass as well. Fish cake. Breakfast is ready. Boreas yelled as the blonde arrived. Tired and sleepy, Naruto saw his teacher making breakfast. Then, the blonde took his seat and started eating. Naruto quite changed over the last years. He was tall like the others boys his age, his hair had tamed and became more messy than spiky. He wore a plain white t-shirt with black bands, and a black jacket with orange trimming along the edges. Said jacket had long sleeves and an open collar, falling slightly short of waist length. There was a red swirl on his back, black pants with a kunai holder on his right side. The blonde also had some muscles and almost lost his baby fat. Don't need to yell that much. I already have Haruno in my class with the other waste of sperm, the blonde said grumble as he took a bite of his breakfast. Boreas put his own plate and started to eat. I thought that you would happier since you're going to graduate. The white-haired demon said with a smirk as Naruto was still eating. I'm happy, but last night, I used my clones a bit too much. Learning Fuinjutsu is taking more than I thought, Naruto said. During his training with the Sky Calamity, the little blonde asked if he could learn more things for him, but unfortunately, Boreas can only help him with his ninjutsu, taijutsu and his sky release and wind release. Then, the blonde tried to find another ninja art since his teacher told that only focusing on one is not a good advantage. He tried to learn genjutsu, but he didn't have any talent for that. His other option was between kenjutsu or fuinjutsu. He chose the second option as many people tend to choose kenjutsu since it was easier to learn instead of the seals. Also, Naruto thinks that seals are underrated and to be different. But to his foster father and friend's surprise, he did have a talent for fuinjutsu. Told you to not overuse, I know that can save a lot of time, but you need to relax. You already high genin and low chunin material. Take your time to hang out with your friends. Maybe you right. I should take my time to learn sealing and hang with Hinata-chan and Yakumo-chan, Naruto said with a big smile. He never expected to become friends with the two heiresses. Hinata was less shy and more confident than before, but still had that shyness that Naruto found cute. With Yakumo, she's more open and the two girls are really good friends. She also started to train by herself until her grandmother started training her. Yakumo's condition started to become when Naruto used his healing on her with the opportunity to use another ninja art, but the heiress of the Kurama clan decided to focus on her genjutsu. The other in the academy still tried to hang out with her for 2 reasons. The first one is because she's one of the last member of her clan with her parents and to be closer with Naruto. since he started to better in classes and his grades completely shatter his image of dead last. The young Uzumaki was in the top 3 for the Rookie of the Year with Shin Hatake and Sasuke Uchiha. The place didn't bother Naruto much, but unfortunately, this position was important for the other. Since her defeat against the Uzumaki, the raven-haired girl made a goal to defeat him, which she was not able to do, and, for Naruto's displeasure, she also slacked him behind his back. With Shin Hatake, his relation with him was different than with Sasuke. The silver-haired boy thought first that the match was nothing but luck, but to his disappointment and Sun's, the young Uzumaki beat him to his fangirl's surprise. They even tried to find theories how the blonde can beat Shin. Since this day, the silver-haired boy never underestimated the blonde, considering the blonde was his main objective to surpass. The boy seemed friendly with him, but Naruto knew that Hatake was also jealous of his relation with Hinata. Don't forget to not become overconfident. This is the great weakness of almost all ninjas. I think you should go if you don't want to be late. Naruto nodded his head as he finished his last bite and put on his black sandals. You forgot your bento fish cake. Before Naruto could leave the house, he turned toward the white-haired demon and said with a big smile, I know, but I want to eat Ichiraku ramen with Hinata-chan and Yakumo-chan. He waved his head and disappeared in a blur. Poor fish cake, he couldn't see that both of his friends have a crush on him, Boreas said with a smile as he take a orange book on his pocket. Now, Cloud finally finish this chapter in peace. He giggles perversely as he was impressed by a book so perverted was made by a human. You should stop, Hinata-chan, said a feminine voice as Hinata stopped her training. She turned to see an older woman with a kind smile on her face. Gee, grandmother. Why you're here? The older woman chuckles as she stares at her favorite grandchild. Himawari Hyuga was the grandmother of Hinata and her little sister Hinabi and cousin Neji. She was a beautiful woman, looked between her late 30s and early 40s, to everyone's confusion since she was in her late 60s. She has long dark purple hair styled with side-swept bangs, and a double-braided headband with the rest twisted and pinned up. She had white eyes like other members of the Hyuga clan and had a rather voluptuous figure and a large bust. She was seen usually wearing a long-sleeved kimono. Do I have to give a reason to one of my grandchildren? Today is the day that my little Hinata will finally graduate, so there's no way that I could miss that, unlike someone. She said darkly as he thought about the elder son. The moment she saw Hinata for the first time, she knew that Hinata be different. Her kindness and gentleness was seen as a weakness by the other Hyuga and her own son. Things didn't get better since the death of Hizashi. His son Neji put the blame on the poor girls, and because of the elders' exigency and pressure lower, her self-esteem was so bad that her younger sister Hanabi was chosen to be the heiress and often spent her time alone, crying. But everything changed when Hinata started to befriend the young Naruto Uzumaki. Unlike most people of Konoha, the member of the Hyuga clan knew that the boy was only the jailer and not the fox himself, but since the boy was not a part of the clan, they didn't bother. During the first weeks, the young Hyuga started to train by herself after seeing the amazing progress made by the young Uzumaki, which attracted the attention of Himawari. Unlike the other elders of the clan, the older woman didn't believe in the rules of the clan with the main house and the branch house. She was even considered like an outcast by them, even her husband and son. She couldn't even see Hanabi because her mother came from another village. Then, she decided to train her eldest granddaughter as nobody would pay attention to her as Hinata stopped talking to her father since she lost her position. For her joy, Hinata seemed to follow her style of gentle fist as Naruto's positive energy and encouragement helped greatly. Hinata had found her self-esteem and became more confident, but still shy with the Uzumaki, and her grandmother cannot wait to meet him. Naruto and Hinata usually go to the academy together every morning since the blonde lived close to Hyuga's district. Talking about your friend, when you will finally meet him, and if I remember what I saw in your secret journal, I wonder if I can touch his whiskers to see if he would purr like a cat. Hinata's face turned completely red as her grandmother laughed. Teasing the young Hyuga was so easy. Gee, grandmother. You promised to stop. The Hyuga pouted as she felt the immense chakra of her crush coming their direction. Your friend must be here. You should change your clothes, Hinata-chan. The young kunoichi nodded her head as she walked toward the clan's door to see the young Uzumaki staring at one of the guards in a staring competition. You must be Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata's friend. The blonde broke his competition as he glanced toward the older woman who had a kind smile on her pale face. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw some similarity with the woman and Hinata. Are you Hinata-chan's mother, or aunt? Himawari was surprised by his response as she chuckles before she laughed. No, I'm her grandmother, Himawari Hyuga, but thanks for your compliment. Are you waiting for Hinata? He blonde nodded his head with a smile. Yup, we walked together to the academy and today is a special day. We will finally become ninja. The class is pretty boring since they lowered the exigency because of the time of peace. I'm sure that we are going to own it. He said with a smile. You're quite right, the exigency did lower because of the time of peace, but it is nice to see young children like you and Hinata taking your training seriously. It's a shame my son will never see his little flower because of the clan, but thankfully I spotted her first and the positive energy of the young Uzumaki. She's quite luckily, she thought as she continued her conversation with the young blonde. Where is my jacket? Found it. Hinata said as she found her cream jacket, putting it on and looking at herself in a mirror. Over the last 3 years, she changed quite a bit. Her hair was still the same, but she wore a cream-colored, hooded jacket with a fire symbol on the upper right and left sleeves and fur around the cuffs and hem, with navy blue pants. She developed a feminine figure with hip and curves that made every girl in her class jealous, and for her displeasure, a C-cup bust that she hid with her hooded jacket. Then, she walked toward the exit only to see her father in her way. She was deeply saddened when she heard from her own father that she was a lost cause after she let Hinobi win because she didn't want to hurt her. Her father didn't ever try to talk since her lose, as her grandmother's was pretty damn pissed. But with her grandmother's positive words and Naruto's influence, she learned that you can't please anybody and accept to loving herself for what she is. The older Hyuga expected that her elder daughter would give him a, "See you later, father," or something like that, but for his surprise, Hinata completely ignored him and even her sister, who was about to speak with her. Hiyashi knew that he didn't speak with Hinata in years, but to ignore her little sister was odd. Curious, he followed the dark blue-haired young girl until he saw his mother talking to the young Uzumaki. Judging by the smile of their face, they seemed to be having a good time as they broke their conversation. "Hi-en Naruto-kun," Hinata said with a smile as Naruto replied with a big smile. "Hey Hinata-chan, your grandma said that you're a huge lover of cinnamon rolls, is that true?" Shocked by what she heard, she turned to the only adult in her clan that she respected. "Gee, grandmother, you promised to not tell," the young Hyuga pouted cutely as Naruto simply smiled. "Well, it is nice to find that one of your friends had a food addiction like you." Hinata took the arm of the blonde as she turned for last time. Sorry grandmother, but we have to go. I will come home late," Hinata said as she left with a confusing blonde. Himawari laughed at this moment only to turn and saw her son, which dropped her smile. "Hiyashi, what do you want?" she asked with a cold tone in her voice that made the clan leader flinch. "I want to know why my daughter was impatient to leave." This sentence caused the older woman to snort as she sent a cold look to her son. "You still considered her like your daughter. You're damn wrong. I took her the moment they felt that she didn't have what it takes to become the next leader of the clan because she didn't want to hurt her little sister Hinobi. Sure, follow your father's way, but to me, you're a deception for a son, a brother and a father." Himawari returned to the clan's house as Hiyashi registered the cold words of his mother. Ignoring the fact that Hinobi heard everything. "Konoha, Academy. Why are we leaving early? Your grandma is very cool." Naruto and Hinata walked in their class and many girls looked at the blonde with a blush in their face for Hinata's annoyance. Since the blonde became one of the 3 strongest, he had his own fan girls, and to his friend's displeasure, Amy is president. He couldn't care less, but he preferred her than Ino or Sakura. Ino was the gossip girl and he had too many bad memories of the pink-haired girl. Some students even tried to befriend him, but he didn't forget that almost every student laughed at him. Then, Naruto and Hinata saw their friend Yakumo who waved her hand at them. "Hi Naruto-kun." "Hi Hinata-san," Yakumo said with a smile. The brown-haired girl didn't really change except the fact that her skin had taken more color and, like Hinata, she started to develop a feminine figure with a modest bust. Having friends had a positive effect on her. "Hi Yakumo-chan, Naruto and Hinata said with a smile as they take their sit to Yakumo's each sides. "Today is the day, huh? We will finally able to become ninja. I cannot wait to be far away from those fangirls," she said with an annoyed look. Hinata nodded her head in agreement as Naruto didn't really care and simply listened. "I quite agree with you," said a female voice as they all turned to see Sasuke Uchiha on Naruto's side with cold expression on her pale face. "Not now," Naruto thought as the black-haired Uchiha put her attention on him. Since Naruto beat Sasuke in the sparring match, the last loyal Uchiha was determined to beat the young Uzumaki in everything. She always asked to fight Naruto, which resulted in the victory of the blonde. Naruto didn't care about their competition, but the raven-haired young girl took the matter really serious. She even stalked the young blonde in secret to know how he get his strength. But this is not the only thing that changed. Like his friends, the young Uchiha started to develop a curvaceous figure with growing beak-up. She let her raven hair loose, which reached her middle back with two bangs framing her quite beautiful face. She wore a gray-collared short-sleeved shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the back with a zipper, white arm warmers, white shorts and blue sandals. "Since when do you talk Uchiha?" Hinata asked as she glanced at the raven-haired girl with an emotionless expression. She didn't like the girl and the feeling was mutual. "I can talk like anyone who has a brain, but I only talk to him, because unlike the others, they are a waste of time. You're good of Hyuga who lost her status at Eris. Maybe hanging with the Dobi did something after all," Sasuke said with smirk as Hinata's white orbs narrowed before she could reply. "Naruto beat her. At least, she doesn't have a crown and throne to feed her ego tem. By the way, your crown still fits you right. Your head has seemed to expand twice that last year," he said smirking back as Hinata and Yakumo's giggled and Sasuke glared the blonde boy. "At least I've the money to afford it, not like an orphan like you. Must be hard for a no-class like you to not have parents." Everyone around listened their conversation and they knew the Raven Beauty tried to get under Naruto's skin ever since her loss against him. She expected to see the blonde offended and insulted since he was an orphan who didn't know about his parents, but to her annoyance, Naruto snorted as he replied, "Thank God that I never met them. After I see the way they raised you, I may become a mess." Naruto knew that he had gone too far, but he didn't really care if he hurt Sasuke. She may have the look and the skills, but she clearly was not a good person in Naruto's opinion. Furious, the raven-haired girl stood up and walked towards Naruto only to be blocked by a taller boy. "I think you should wait until after we graduate. Don't you think, Uzumaki?" Sasuke had a better look to see that was Shin Hitaki who stopped her. Hitaki. Like the members of the group, the silver-haired boy changed as well. His hair had become even more spiky and bangs covering his forehead. He was a bit taller than Naruto with sign of muscles. He wore an outfit consisting of a gray-lined mesh t-shirt under a short-sleeved black jacket with white edges, adorned on both the sleeves and the back with a circle with a line through black pants, shinobi sandals and gloves with his index and thumb fingers exposed and a gray scarf around his neck. "Get out of my May Hitaki. I've business with the Dobi," Sasuke said, voice was cold ice. Naruto wondered why the black-haired girl wouldn't leave him alone or even ignore him like she'd do with other boys in the class and son. "This is not the right spot, all of us can't wait to get out of here and finally become ninja. If you fight Uzumaki right now, you will be suspended." Sasuke glared the silver-haired boy and she returned her attention on the blonde. "Don't think you will get away with this, Uzumaki. You and me are not over." She turned on her heels as she didn't see Sun who greeted her. "Why, I can't just talk with him. That stupid blonde can't see that I tried to befriend him. I need to change my tactic," she thought as the brown-haired young boy stared at the ground with anime tears. "Why is Sasuke-chan is so cruel?" Shin and the girls laughed at his antics as the blonde rolled his blue orbs. Like the other students in his class, the brown-haired Sarutobi quite change. He wears 2 red wrist bracers and an open loose-collared white jacket with no shirt underneath, displaying his muscular physique. He also wears blue cargo pants tied up with a white belt. He wears white bandages on his legs and has a chain hanging from the belt loop on the right side of his pants and blue sandals. "This is how she is, buddy," Shin tapped his friend back. "More like a waste of time, you can do better than that ape," Naruto said as he didn't understand why the brown-haired boy loved the last loyal Uchiha. He found pretty, but he found his friends prettier. "You can't understand, Uzumaki. Unlike me, you're the one who she talks the most and yet you don't seem to care about the chances you had. I will do anything for making her talking with me," Sun said as he glared the blonde boy. Since Naruto beat Sasuke and become one of the 3 best students, he declared Naruto as his rival on skills and love for Naruto's displeasure. Naruto didn't seem to care enough to care, but he did enjoy some physical competition. "You should calm yourself, Sun-san, you're bad as Ino or Sakura," Hinata said quietly as the 2 girls are the biggest fangirls. Which Sakura was for Shin and Ino for Naruto. For her and Yakumo's annoyance. "She also hates nosy people. If you want her to notice you, be more calm and maybe she will," Yakumo said as she didn't understand what almost every guys in her class found something in the cold Uchiha but didn't care enough to think about it. "You right, Yakumo-chan. If I show that I can be cool, she will notice me," he said with determination as Naruto snorted. "Naruto, be nice," Naruto pouted as she gently tapped his cheek. "This guy is a hopeless romantic loser. Thank God that I lose my stupid crush on Sakura," he thought as the 2 best friends takes their place as they waiting the teachers, but they hear a huge noise coming from the door. "Take that, forehead. You just get lucky, Ino pig." "Oh no, she arrived," Hinata and Yakumo thought in same time as they see the pale blonde girl looking for someone until she saw the blonde-haired boy with a nervous smile. "Hi Naruto-kun." "Hi Ino." Naruto feel a huge wave of negative energy coming from Hinata and Yakumo that make his back shiver. Ino's appearance also change. Her long, pale blonde hair, which is always seen in a high ponytail with bangs covering the right side of her face, and her hair reached down to her waist. She wore a pair of small silver hoop earrings. She wore a short purple vest-like blouse with a raised collar, a purple apron skirt that is cut off on the sides, and bandages on her stomach and legs. She also wore purple and white elbow warmers and blue sandals. Sakura wore a red kippou dress with white circular designs, with or without short sleeves, with a zipper, tight dark green bike shorts, standard ninja sandals. Her hair reached the bottom of the back. That was a surprise for the blonde to see that Ino, one of the noisiest and gossip girl, had a crush on him. She even started to train with him, Hinata and Yakumo, for their displeasure, but surprisingly Ino was pretty skilled, and because of Naruto's praise, she started to take her training seriously and hang out with the 3, although Sakura didn't forget what the blonde did to her and she never tried to abuse him again but sent dark look behind his back. "Are you excited? This is the day that we finally become ninja," Ino said with excitement on her crush as Sakura muttered, "If he able to pass the clone test for the 3rd time." Naruto did hear what the pink-haired young girl said as he was tempted to reply, but that will a lost of saliva. "Sure Ino, and I sure that you do better than the other girls in class. You did trained unlike somewhere." Naruto glanced the pinkett as he didn't remark the dark look of Sasuke. "How he can so nice with this weak bimbo when I basically better and more beautiful than her. Maybe he's nice to her to save his face," she thought, annoyed as Iruka and Mizuki arrive as everyone take their seats. "As you know, today is the day of graduation exam. You've all been training so hard in the past few years and more. It is now your time to show us what you learned in order to become Genin of Konoha," Iruka said to the class with a serious face. Everyone was silent, they all waiting for this day. Some students can't wait to finally become ninjas when others are more interested to finally get up, but nobody talk, they all wait the next word of Iruka. "Your test is divided into 3 parts. The first part is a written exam based on information that you learn over the years in the academy. The second part is a test on weapons and your accuracy and skill with them. The final test is able to perform all 3 jutsus perfectly in order to pass the test and graduate, the scarred brown-haired Chunin explained as Naruto was excited to the point that he can't barely stand. This time, this will be a piece of cake. I hope Naruto-kun and Yakumo-san will succeed. This is so much stressful, but thanks of Hinata-kan and Naruto-kun's presence, I will pass in no time. Just get all ready, at this rate Izumi will have white treats. They all thought as they start the writing test when Iruka's eyes moved on the blonde who stares the questions with a smile on his face. He was quite glad that the blonde decided to start well 3 years ago and become one of the 3 students on the class. He even helped Hinata breaking her shell and helped the condition of the brunette. But he didn't forget that Naruto had a serious issue with the clone jutsu, but the brown-haired Chunin was confident that this time was different. You can do this, Naruto. This is the time for the last part of your exam. Follow me out of the room and over the examination area when I call your name. After you finish, whether you pass or fail, you will be asked to leave the building. You can wait for friends outside if you must. First up, Shino Aburame, one of the academy instructors stated. Naruto watched Shino, most of the quiet students in class, walking toward the door without a word and follow the instructor. Naruto hated waiting as he watched Hinata, Yakumo, Shin and Sun finishing as he was waiting with Sasuke and Ino for his disappointment. He could tolerate the pale blonde girl, but Sasuke was another history. Then he remembered the 2 tests that he did. For the writing part, was easy since he used his clones to study when he trained. The second was his favorite, he imagined the people who were annoyed by or hate him. But this time, he was confident this time, he will pass. By the Dobi, did you know that the 2 best rookie are paired with the dead last of the class? Is for balance the strength of the team. I know that I will be the number 1, but you should try to beat me. If you pass, you and me will be in the same team and you will fight for real, she said with a smirk as Naruto wondered why the black-haired girl can't leave him alone. You forgot that Shin can be in your team with the dead last. You will never see again. I don't know why you seem eager to have me in your team, but hopefully that become true, Naruto smirked back. To be closer with you, you stupid blonde. Why boys are dumb at this age. He should be proud that I talk with him and worthy to befriend a Uchiha, Sasuke thought as she continued to stare the blonde. It seemed strange that the Ice Queen is interested in the village pariah, unlike Hinata who her crush was pretty obvious. She crushed the Naruto since she was little. Naruto didn't seem to remember, but she was. With her elder sister Izumi they played with the young blonde before she killed all her clan. Naruto didn't remember that, but she didn't forget, and the only way she found is she will act like a cold person in public places and less bitchy with him. She was even sure that Naruto will help to avenge her clan and recreate it. They didn't talk until one of the instructor called, Sasuke Uchiha. The raven-haired girl smirked at Naruto before follow the instructor leaving him and Ino alone. I could this if I use my sky release, shadow clone jutsu rather than the shadow clone jutsu. Nobody will suspect how I learned the jutsu, but they will report to the old Hokage if I use my kekkei genkai. Naruto didn't reveal to his friends that he got a kekkei genkai like them. He saw how the civilians treat the ninjas with a kekkei genkai. In another time, he will enjoy the attention of the villages, but this is different now. The 4th and 3rd Hokage sealed his face thinking that people will accept him to keep out the 9-tailed fox, but humans don't work like that, especially leader who put the village above everything else. Naruto Uzumaki. The blonde quickly broke this thought as he saw one of the instructor called his name. Good luck, Naruto-kun, Ino said as Naruto smiled back and followed the instructor with a determination on his face. Naruto followed the instructor as he led him into a small room in another hallway in the academy. Inside, there was a large table where the teacher at the academy were all sitting at. Naruto recognized Iruka, Mizuki. In front of Iruka, were the Konoha forehead protectors. Naruto eyes them as he remarked they come in color variety. Naruto Uzumaki, please perform the 3 academy jutsu. First the substitution jutsu. Naruto nodded and without even making signs he switched places with chair in the corner. He did the substitution jutsu again to return to his initial position. Good, now do the transformation technique. Naruto nodded his head as he do the sign and vanished in a cloud of smoke. Instead of him, was Iruka, identical of him. He released the transformation a moment later. Excellent, the last jutsu to the clone jutsu. Naru hated this jutsu since he had large amount of chakra compared to a Jonin and he saw the smirk on Mizuki. Then, a small tornado appeared behind his back and a copy of himself popped from existence. Iruka and Mizuki's jaws hit the floor as they see it perfectly the clone of Naruto. Good job Naruto. You're now an official genin. Naruto simply sent a smile to Iruka as he took a black Konoha forehead protector and as he leave the room, he didn't saw the glare of Mizuki. How the demon did pass the test, the clone jutsu was supposed to be his worst jutsu. That's ruin everything. I have to change my plans that a little. If I play my cards right, I'll get the scroll and the demon brat will die in the same time. The Chunin ignored his fellow instructor as he walked out of the room and given a minutes to change his plans. Naruto walked down hallway before he saw Hinata and Yakumo waiting for him and the two girls saw his black forehead protector on his right. You passed Naruto-kun. Hinata said happily as she worried because of the last jutsu since that was the weakness of the blonde but after seeing her crush made very happy. How you do it? Don't take personally but you completely suck with clone jutsu. The brown-haired young girl nodded as the three friends hugged each other as the brunette liked those moments. You mean Yakumo-chan? I use a special jutsu to avoid any suspicious. Since this is over, someone want to eat at Ichiraku. It been age since I eat there, Naruto said as he thought about ramen. Sure, my parents said I came home later before midnight and it been a while since I had ramen, Yakumo said. My grandmother know that I will celebrate with you but after that I've to come home after that, Hinata added as Naruto smiled brightly as take the arms of his two female friends who blushed at the contact. So let's go. Ramen here we go. That hit the spot. The blonde said after reaching his 12 bowls as the girls was full after their third ones. Ayame was happy so see the little blonde who was like a little brother for her. During the 3 years, Naruto start to become less and less as he explained that he finally found someone who take care of him and had to completely change his food habit which limited ramen for 2 times every week. I'm full. I don't know how you can eat this quantity of noodles and yet you didn't take a pound Naruto-kun. We ninja, we burn the energy to move and made our jutsus but as more my foster father know about this stuff. He said my body quickly burned the calories, he explained as he took another bowl. We didn't see our foster father Naruto-kun, but why you don't to anyone that you got someone who take care of you? The young Hyuga asked as she remarked the strange white-haired man with her Byakugan from a large distance. Because of this is the perfect time to show to his friend his kekkei genkai. He opened his palm and a small orb of pure air popped in his palm. He's teach me sky release. An advanced form of wind. Basically, I can do anything with air, even absorb the air himself to heal and wind jutsu had no effect on me, he explained as the two girls are shocked with this revelation especially Yakumo. He had a kekkei genkai and he didn't tell us. I wish I could tell mine, she thought as she was quite sad and pissed that the blonde decide keep his secret but she could understand this is not something you can like the weather. Why you didn't tell us Naruto-kun? You don't trust us? Hinata asked sadly that her friend didn't reveal his secret. Naruto stopped eating as he feeling bad to not telling. He had the opportunity to tell them but he remembered that he was also the vessel of the beast who almost destroyed the village. It was already hard to make friends but he was uncomfortable to share secretly as many can use them against him. I'm sorry girls. It just hard to share things like that. Both of you are the best friends than I can imagine but I was scared that you will treat me differently like the other students in our class. I know that fangirls only want my pants but some of them enjoyed seeing me suffer. The two girls feels bad as they forgot that the blonde was not the most liked in the village and quickly hugged the blonde who didn't understand their actions. I'm sorry Naruto-kun. That was a bit selfish to be mad at you because you had a secret. I thought that you don't trust enough to reveal your secret to us, she explained as Naruto sighed as replied with a smile. Both of you are my friends but that don't mean we can share everything. Someone close to me betray my trust and that take me a while to get over it. But know this, if I got something big in my heart, both of you will be the first persons knowing it, he said with a smile as he remarked a strange note appear from nowhere on the stand. I thinks that enough for tonight. Tomorrow I will show my kekkei genkai and start the nature transformation, he exclaimed with a big smile as they heard the mention of nature transformation. They heard the blonde talking about learning element, and since the academy didn't learn that level. This is really cool, Naruto-kun, Yakumo said happily as she turned to the young Hyuga with a big smile. This is not excited Hinata-san. We will have a advance before the others. Hinata smiled, but deep down, she was a bit worried since the Hyuga clan is mostly for use for their deadly taijutsu, but no record of any Hyuga using ninjutsu in her clan history. But since nobody in her clan expect her grandmother care about her, learning ninjutsu will not be so bad. I know, right? Imagine if Hinata used an element with her gentle fist. The peoples of your clan will never see that coming, Naruto said. He glanced the small piece of paper. That was more easy than I thought. The damn old fool didn't even bother to protection in his house. His naivety will be the cause of this demise, the white-haired Chunin said as he stares the large scroll with glee in his eyes. His first plan was to convince the young Uzumaki to take the scroll and kill the blonde, but fortunately the old Hokage's house was more to invade than he thought. He just to found Naruto and put the blame on him, which everyone will in the village will believe the accusations relate to the number one hated person. At the moment he was about to leave the forest, a kunai coming to nowhere slice his left cheek. What the hell? Mizuki looked around him to find the source as he saw Naruto on a tree branch with an amused smirk on his tan face. I quite agree with you, Mizuki-tem. His love for this village turned his brain to monkey brain jelly. Naruto jumped from the branch to land to the grassy ground. Naruto, how did you found me? Mizuki didn't understand how the fresh genin could found him as he didn't tell to anybody. Let just said that some little birdie told me. But the question of the day is why you want to take the scroll, sensei. The young blonde was calm and wait to the Chunin's future movement as the white-haired man simply put an arrogant smirk on his face and said. I despite this village of idiots and goody two-shoes. I was told if I bring the scroll of the Hokage to Orochimaru, I will get a power greater than anything and no one will stop me, even demon. The blonde-haired boy raised an eyebrow as he wondered why every adult's now his secret. Look, I don't care if you want to hurt the village or whatever, but I've to stop you for whatever reason, and I want to look what jutsu is hiding in there. The white-haired man was completely confused by the strange reply of the blonde vessel. He knew that the boy used to prank anyone in the village to have attention, but that all stopped 3 years ago. He didn't even shoot about becoming Hokage anymore, as many ninjas only saw him in the academy but snorted as the blonde said that he could defeat him. Don't make me laugh, Naruto. You're just a genin who graduate from the academy and I'm a chunin with experience. Step away and maybe I will let you live. Mizuki lied about the last part as Naruto didn't believe it. You really think I'm stupid enough to believe you? I know you hated the first time you saw my face. You're going to kill me the moment that I turn my back because I'm the nine-tailed fox. The white-haired man was shocked by the revelation. If Naruto. How did you that? The third put a lot to reveal that you're the damn fox to the new generation. Naruto snorted as he took a kunai from his holder. Only a fool wouldn't make the connection between the glares and my whiskers. Naruto quickly rushed at the chunin with incredible speed as before Mizuki couldn't saw. The blonde sliced Mizuki's chest. He released a cry of pain as Naruto surrounded his right fist with air. Sky release. Gale fist. A large whirlwind erupted from his fist which sent the chunin flying across the forest until he crashed against a tree. Mizuki spit a mixture of saliva and blood as he even 3 of his ribs cracked. What the hell is that? He was able to create a whirlwind with his fist. Don't tell me the demon got a kekkei genkai from the fox. He asked to himself as Naruto simply raised his another hand and large tornado popped from nowhere and the tornado take expansion and slice the 3 and the chunin with large blade of wind. Mizuki fall in the ground as he remarked that the scroll was not on his bag anymore but one of Naruto's clone as he tried to raise up but his injuries made the job difficult. Why you will pay for this demon. When they will see my injuries, they will kill for good and I will be the one who going to end your life, Mizuki said with a smirk as Naruto simply walked toward him with a cold look on his whiskered face. You really think they will believe you? The third Hokage know this as you're the responsible with his crystal ball. I could let you live but you know too much. You should never underestimate a freshman just because you're older. Naruto create a orb of pure air and let a last glance to the Chunin. Why you really going to kill one of own versus village? A Konoha ninja, what Iruka or the third or even your friends think if you kill a teacher? Naruto smirked. My friends will understand that a scumbag and traitor like you deserve everything that will get and unlike the others too, I don't like giving second chance to trash. Sky release. Vacuum blade. The young Uzumaki threw a several blade of wind that was low long and sharp. Mizuki's body was completely covered with multitude of slashes, one of the blades slice his throat which make choke on his own blood when Naruto watched the man dying in his last moment with satisfaction or sadness. I can't believe he didn't use the substitution jutsu to escape my last jutsu. How well, I've the time to copy the jutsu in that scroll before someone come to check the body. Naruto and his clone opened the scroll as Naruto saw familiar jutsu that he heard during the lessons. Some other techniques he don't even know the existence. Like wood release and water release from the first and second Hokage. Haraishin with Rasengan by the fourth Hokage. The 8 trigrams sealing style, the Shiki Fujane and the summoning, impure world reincarnation. Since Naruto can't use the wood release for obvious reasons but decide to copy everything in a blank scroll. When the blonde finish, he left the scroll with the body of Mizuki as he sensed the chakra signature of 4 Anbu. In a large tornado, Naruto leave the forest as the 4 Anbu arrived to the scene and saw the body of the white-haired Chunin. Who did this? The traitor was alone and we sought a footprints, the Anbu with long purple hair said as the another tried to figure it out. The entire body and the neck of the victim is entirely sliced. He was killed with strong wind jutsu, said another one with spiky black-haired. It may be Danzo or Asuma. Both of them are the only ninja using wind release in the entire village. Both ninja have a good to stop the traitor, a blonde-haired Anbu added. It may be Ru but Danzo will probably send his root members and he will probably burn the corpse. Asuma don't care about the secret of the villages since him and the third didn't talk after a decade, which mean another ninja who use wind release is at the border of the village or hide in the village. We should make our report to the third Hokage. The another Anbu nodded their head as one take the big scroll and another burn the corpse of Mizuki. The purple Anbu stare one last time the body of the white-haired Chunin with a last thought as she found 2 kunai with blood on the tip. She looked closely before she saw something strange. Strange, the chakra used on this kunai was sharper than before and his still had some chakra left. I'll make my own investigation, the purple-haired Jonin left as the body continued to burn. It seemed that your mission was a success. Boreas asked as Naruto arrived in tornado popped from existence. That was more easy than I thought. Mizuki was not really a challenge as he pretty underestimated me because of my age. Also, he proved my theory that every adults know about my condition but didn't reveal to my generation. I copy the technique on the scroll too. Naruto launched the scroll to the white-haired demon as Boreas looked inside. Pretty good my little fish cake. I could finally look through the village's most powerful jutsus. Wood release is practically useless for obvious reasons. You can learn the technique of Tobarama Senju. I will check the other techniques and you should probably go sleeping, Boreas stated as he saw the young blonde yawned. Yeah, and I promise to train with Hinata-chan and Yakumo-chan to train tomorrow and my awesome skills with Sky Release. Good night old man, Naruto waved lazily as he walked toward his room leaving the white-haired demon alone in the room. Time to see how this jutsu works. He returned his attention to the scroll. You should go sleeping mom, Yakumo said to a woman who stares her with a kind smile. The woman had very delicate features and long smooth silver hair along with light brown colored eyes. She wore a long-sleeved gray jacket with a large red belt wrapped around the waist area. She wore a gray long dress that went down to her feet and she had 3 different colored shirts all underneath the gray one. She also wore a necklace. Are you sure that you don't want something to drink or eat, sweetie? Yakumo shake her head. Even since her condition was turned positive, her mother still overprotective with her, which Yakumo didn't bother at time. I'm fine, mom. I've to wake up early to train with Naruto-kun and Hinata-chan before we get our team. The older woman smiled at the mention of the blonde and the Hyuga. Be sure to eat something before you go training with Naruto-san. You should bring your friend more often. Then, her mother kissed her forehead as she walked toward the door. Good night, Yakumo. Good night, mummy. The silver-haired woman leave her room as the realm of dreams start to get her, but before she could close her eyes, a sinister voice echo in her mind. Sleep when, Yakumo-chan. Tomorrow we have a big day. The voice paralyzed the brown-haired girl. As for someone else, they would probably be terrified, but oddly the young girl didn't show much that fear. What do you want, Ito? You never show interest for what I doing, she asked as the sinister voice chuckles madly. The academy was so damn boring. But since you're officially a genin thing, will finally get interesting, and sooner or later, you have to talk about me. Also, don't even try to hide my existence. Unlike what this woman said about me, you can't make me disappear. I'm a part of you, and don't forget who let your health condition getting better. Yakumo did talk back as she tried to find a way to reveal the biggest secret of her clan to her only friends. She knew that they will accept her for no matter what, but she still had some doubts. Give me time and I'm promised that I will reveal your identities, Ito. The doppelganger of the brown-haired young girl stay silence for a couple of minutes until Ito respond. You better do, or I will make sure they will notice my existence, the doppelganger said as she sighed before she could finally sleep with a last thought. This will be more simple if that woman didn't try to erase my gift, she at the woman who leaves after losing hope on her. What wrong with my pictures, old man? Naruto asked as Hiruzen stares the picture of a Naruto with white paint face. Black eyelids with joker marks on his cheeks. He wear bloody red lipstick as his blonde hair was slicked back. The blonde also have a creepy smile that show his teeth. This picture is quite shocking, Naruto. I don't know how and why you did this. I cannot accept this, you have to do another shot, the third Hokage said as Naruto raises an eyebrow. What do you talk, old man? I too a normal picture like anyone else. He took the picture out of Hiruzen's hands and his eyes widened as he forgot to show the right picture. I gave you the wrong picture. This is the right picture, Naruto show at the third Hokage the good one. On the second picture, Naruto's face was perfectly normal as he had a blank look. So why did you use this disturbing picture, Naruto-kun? He asked with soft voice that caused Naruto to frown and take the wrong picture. For fun, and this is not of your business, old man. You may be the leader of this village, but you have no authority to our personal life, Naruto replied coldly. Their relationship is now non-existent since the reveal from Boreas about the human's vessel situation. The young blonde decide to not reveal this information but cut all ties with him and lose all his trust to the elder Hokage. Naruto, I don't know what I did. You seem to be angry for some reason and I want to know why. I consider you like my own grandchildren, Naruto rolled his eyes. Sure, and my mother is a S-class Kenjutsu master or something like that. Good thing I sent a clone with Hinata-chan and Yakumo-chan, he thought as before he could reply. A battle cry was heard from the door. Fight me, old geezer. A young boy with a gray helmet with a hole at the top for his hair to stick out of. He has worn a long blue scarf with gray shorts and a yellow shirt with a red Konoha symbol printed on it and blue sandals and shuriken in his right hand. Before the young boy could throw it at the elder man, he stepped in his blue scarf, causing him to fall right on the face. Damn, who set a trap? Not again, he said with a low voice as Naruto simply walked towards the door since that don't concern him. The young child must be really dumb to run with a long scarf. At the same time, a man wearing black dark plain clothes and sunglasses appeared on the doorway, panting a bit. Honorable grandson, are you all right? The man asked. Pardon my observations, but there are no traps here, the surface is completely flat, the man said as he regained his composure, pushing his sunglasses up on his nose in what Naruto thought stupid and returned his stares on the young boy. The boy got up as he stares the blonde who stares as well. The sunglasses-wearing man stares at the blonde with disgust, which Naruto notice. The nine-tailed fox brat. The worst kind of troublemaker around, the man thought as he sneered at the blonde. However, he didn't notice the sneer as the brown-haired boy accused him and pointed with his finger. "You're the one who made fall." Naruto rolled his eyes as he frowned. "You're the one who fall because of your scarf. Don't put the blame on me because you are stupid. No, you're the one who did it. You just want to accuse me, you coward." Furious, Naruto take the boy by grabbing the scarf and pulled him close as he glared intensely the younger boy. "You stupid damn brat. Don't blame me for your own mistake and you dare to insult a ninja." Naruto. This is the honorable grandson of the third Hokage. Put him down. Naruto stares the boy, surprised by the older man replied. This brat is related with the old monkey, who did he had with someone in the village, he thought, as the revelation didn't shock him as he thought. Remembering that he had important thing to do. That's right, big guy. He will stop like the others because of Gramps, the younger boy thought as he was about to gloat. Naruto dropped the boy on the floor and punched him on the top of the head. Naruto. What do? You hurt the honorable grandson of Lord Hokage. The man said as Naruto raises an eyebrow as he was about to leave the room. That doesn't give him the right to act like a little. He should learn to accuse people for his own mistakes, and I don't give a shit if he was the bastard son of the old man. Naruto disappear in a blur of tornado, leaving a surprised Hiruzen, a pissed off man and a shocked Konohamaru. This guy is not like the others. What a waste of time. I can't believe that brat thinks that he can have anything because of his statue, Naruto said to himself as he walked toward the training field outside of the village. The blonde boy remarked that nobody in the village talked about Mizuki's betrayal and he was sure that somebody found the body, but the blonde didn't care about that. He was focusing more on the elemental training of Hinata and Yakumo as he bumped into somebody as he fell on his butt cheek. Hey, watch your step, Naruto said, annoyed as he tried to see the person who made him fall. Then he saw the person in front of him and his eyes widened. The person was a beautiful woman in her late 20s. She had jade green colored eyes and long violet hair. She had an hourglass figure with large and fair skin. She wear the standard Jonin uniform. I'm sorry. I didn't see you coming, are you alright? The purple-haired woman asked with worried tone that surprised the young blonde human vessel. Usually, when people had their usual glare or push without even saying sorry, so when he heard the woman said those words, Naruto was quite shocked. He had a better look at the woman and he remarked that he never see this woman in the village and he personally know that almost every woman wouldn't ask for well-being. I'm fine. I just have something important and I didn't see you coming at me. I've to meet my friends and I don't want to be late, Naruto said, quite embarrassed as he scratched the back of his hair. The woman simply chuckles as she saw the headband on Naruto's arm. It's alright, just be careful next time. Naruto nodded his head and quickly runs but was stopped by the purple-haired ninja behind. I know that this sounds a bit strange to you, but can you help me finding the training fields? I'm still new to this village and you can see that villagers don't really like foreigners, she said with a little smile as Naruto turned toward her with a curious glance. Really? This is the place I was going to reach. So you came from another village, huh? Naruto asked. He never heard or see ninja outside the village. Even in peace the relation of the five great shinobi countries are quite tense and barely tolerable. Exactly, I'm Natsuhi of Hoshi. Naruto's blue eyes widened at the mention of Hoshi. Boreas told him the tales of a hidden village located at the same location of a meteorite. He also said that some ninja learned to use an energy similar to stellar elements but few had survived. Really? You must come very far away. She nodded her head in agreement. I'm become a Jonin of Konoha recently and I can remark that not everyone is fan of strangers, but at least I made some friends, she said with a small smile as Naruto couldn't help but saw her green eyes hallow for some reasons. Well, I hope you will feel like home. I'm Naruto Uzumaki and Genin, nice to meet you, he pointed with a big smile. Natsuhi's jade green eyes widened at the name of the young blonde. She heard all the rumors about the young Uzumaki and his statue of being vessel by the third Hokage. Naruto was worried for a little bit after he revealed his name, He know that being the jailer of the nine-tailed fox will destroy his future relation with another ninja, but hope that the foreigner will not judge him. Fortunately, the woman of Hoshi didn't give him the traditionally glare as she simply smile and shape up the hand of the blonde ninja. Nice to meet you, Naruto Uzumaki. I noticed that you probably just got your headband right. Naruto nodded his head. Yeah, and I can't wait to know who is going to be my future sensei and teammates. I hope that you join the team of my friends, but since I'm one of the strongest, probably not, he said. Naruto hated sometime the system or the person who made the teams. I hope that I will get you as my future students. I think you're the rarest person who is willing to talk with you. Show me the way. I've yet to find where the training grounds are for the team placement. Naruto nodded his head with a big smile. Sure, I hope to get you as Sensei Natsuhi-san. The two ninja continued their way as they didn't see the grandson of the third Hokage looking their way. Third training ground. Hi guys. Ino, what are you doing here? Naruto asked as he saw Hinata and Yakumo stared with an annoyed look at Ino, who simply waved her hand with a large smile. Hi Naruto-kun. I saw Hinata and Yakumo walking toward the training ground, and when they said you going to teach them something very cool, so I decide to join. Are you happy to see me? She asked with a warm tone as Naruto feel a huge amount of negative energy in the training ground, which was odd since before he arrived, everything was normal. Why yeah, I quite surprised but happy to see you, he replied with a nervous smile as Natsuhi looked the scene with curiosity. I'm sure that you have something more important than training, Ino-san. After all, training requires sweating and being covered with dirt, Hinata said. Everyone in their class knew that the pale-haired blonde is one of the most superficial and vain in the class, but that quite changed when she started to hang out with them. She dropped her diet much to her parents' joy, and because of Naruto's encouragement, she was the fourth place after Sasuke, Hinata and Yakumo. Not really, I was supposed to work at the shop, but my dad decided to give me a day off, and I can't wait to show Naruto-kun a technique that I developed myself, Hinata frowned. The dark blue-haired Hyuga knew that the blonde was quite skilled, but her not secret crush can't see when a girl who tried to get his attention, but at least she was happy that the blonde will never take advantage. Really, that sound really cool, Ino. Before we start, everyone, this is Natsuhi-san. She came from another ninja village far away. The three female ninja saw the purple-haired woman who had a smile on her pale face. The three fresh genin couldn't help but feel inferior for obvious reasons. Nice to meet you, Natsuhi-san. I hope that you enjoyed the village, Yakumo said. This is not bad, I will get used to it. So why are four newly made genin like you do in the training ground before the team selection? You should rest before tomorrow. She asked. I promise them that I will help them find out what their chakra nature is. I already found mine, and since maybe we won't be on the same team, it would be nice if they have an advantage, Naruto explained as he take paper from his pocket. You're already found your affinity, Naruto-kun? Ino asked as the whiskered blonde nodded his head and grabbed one paper, and suddenly the paper was divided by two, one side turned wrinkle and the other wet. I got 3 elements, lightning, wind, water and yang. I already mastered wind, but I still need to work with the another, he explained. Whoa. You have 3 elements, that's amazing, Naruto-kun, Ino complimented to the another blonde. This is pretty amazing for a young genin to have 3 elements, but already working on an element that is very rare in this village is more amazing. This Uzumaki is something more that I thought, the purple-haired Jonin thought as Naruto gave 3 slips of paper to Hinata, Ino and Yakumo. You just need to put a small amount of chakra in the paper and I can you show the base. The 3 kunoichi nodded their head and there quickly gathered a small quantity of chakra in their fingers. The young Uzumaki raised an eyebrow, surprised by the elements. Yakumo was wind and earth, Hinata was lightning and fire, which was a shock for him. Ino got lightning and water. This is so cool that all have got 2 elements, especially you, Ino. I guess you're more special than I though. Natsuhi-san, do you want to stay with us? Naruto asked as he didn't see the brown-haired young girl glared the platinum blonde girl, who seemed to be very happy by the compliment of the whiskered blonde. I want to crush her in half. I agree. Ito thought as well. I would like to, but I need to do something very important. I hope our paths will meet again. See you next time. Naruto Uzumaki. Girls, the Jonin disappear in a mist of smoke, leaving the four genin alone. Too bad Ino is here, I can't show her my sky release. She's the gossip girl in the village and the old man will be aware of Boreas-sensei, he sighed as he returned his attention to his friends. Are you alright Naruto-kun? Hinata asked with concern. It's fine, I'm just wondering what teacher I will get tomorrow and I hoping that will be Natsuhi-san, she's very nice. Even we're not in the same team I hope we will still hang out each others and maybe we'll get Natsuhi-san, Yakumo said. She was not naive, her blonde friend will probably pair up with Shin or Sasuke. Yakumo didn't have any problem with Shin since they're quite friends but she don't like the loner Uchiha. She rather spend her time with Ino rather than Ice Queen. At least with her, you have in conversation even if it can be really annoying, speaking of the Uchiha. When Naruto explained the exercise, Sasuke Uchiha prepared herself for the team selection tomorrow. Meanwhile, Uchiha former district, training ground. Sasuke was alone in her family training ground. She glared at the targets that were placed in every direction with target marks on them. She took a deep breath and jumped into the air and launched 3 kunai in the same direction, 2 on her right, 4 behind her back and 3 shuriken at her right side, and before she could land on the floor, she did some hand signs and yelled. Fire release, dragon flame release song technique. She expelled a large fireball that took the form of a number of dragon head-shaped fireballs which all hit the same spot of the kunai, which resulting mini explosion for her satisfaction. One more try and I would be ready for tomorrow. No way Dobi will ignoring me after that, she panted after training his jutsu all day. Since her defeat against the blonde, Sasuke vowed to defeat the blonde and see her as his equal. She was not blind, her statue of being the Uchiha didn't made her invincible and she was annoyed that she couldn't activate her Sharingan and the fact that the blonde ignored her after the massacre. At first she didn't understand why Naruto seemed to ignore her. She thought at first that Naruto was giving her space but she knows something was wrong when the blonde didn't give any attention, and she was deeply hurt and even more when the blonde befriended the weakling Hyuga and the new student Kurama. Since then, she tried to recreate the bond they created but each temptation ended in multiple failures and she became frustrated when the whiskered blonde was nice with the another blonde. She sighed and took a deep breath and looked at her surroundings. She had to change tactics if she want to befriend the blonde. She needed to change her tactics and maybe befriend his friends, even Ino. She was extremely sure that if she play the right cards, the blonde will help her become strong enough to defeat Izumi and rebuild her clan. She blushed at the last thought. She couldn't lie to herself. Naruto was starting to become very attractive and his whiskered are meant to rub. She knew that the blonde was pretty obvious with feelings but she hoped that he wasn't totally clueless. To the Uchiha's eyes, Naruto was the only one worthy of her affection and no way she will let the shy Hyuga put her claw on him. I'm sure Dobi would like me to be on this team. Who doesn't want to be paired up with the last Uchiha, she said to herself when she returned to her training but had a little smile on her face. Hokage office. Kakashi Hatake, Asuma Sarutobi, Kurenai Yuhi, Aoba Yamashiro and Natsuhi Shikimi. Moving forward, the called Jonin moved at the front of the elder Kage who is sitting at his right side. Natsuhi was looked at her right side to have a better look of her comrade. The first one was a tall man with spiky silver hair, dark gray eyes, and typically a relaxed, heavy-lidded expression. His left side is covered with his forehead protector. This, combined with the mask he has used to cover the lower half of his face for seemingly his entire life, prevents most of his face from being visible. He wears the Konoha's standard uniform, a flak jacket, dark blue pants, and a long-sleeve shirt. He also wears fingerless gloves with metal plates on the backhand and is seen with a chain necklace underneath and dark blue sandals. The second one was a tall man, with brown eyes, olive skin, short black spiky hair, and a beard. His clothing consisted of the standard Konoha ninja uniform with the sleeves rolled up halfway, flak jacket, regular shinobi sandals and forehead protector. He also wore a sash that had the kanji for fire marked on it around his waist, a pair of black bangles, and bandages wrapped around the arms of his sleeves. The third one was a fair-skinned woman of slender build. She has long black untamed hair reaching her upper back, and very unique eyes that are red in color, with an additional ring in them. She wears makeup consisting of red lipstick and purple eyeshadow. Her regular outfit consists of a red mesh armor blouse with only the right sleeve visible. Overall, this is very broad material which resembles bandages with a pattern on it similar to those of rose thorns. Her hands and upper thighs are also wrapped in bandages and she wears the Konoha forehead protector and regular shinobi sandals. She was quite beautiful. The last one was a man with dark, spiky hair and is always seen wearing red-framed sunglasses which obscures his eyes. He wears the standard Konoha shinobi outfit complete with flak jacket and forehead protector, the latter of which is worn slightly tilted to the left. Kakashi, your team is Team 7 and your genin are Shin Hatake, Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. Kurenai, your team is Team 8 and your genin are Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka and Shino Aburame. Asuma, your team is Team 10 and your genin are Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akamichi and Ino Yamanaka. Aoba, your team is Team 11 and your genin are Sai Shimura, Sakura Haruno and Sun Sarutobi. And lastly Natsuhi, your team is Team 13 and your genin are Yakumo Kuruma, Rugo Nara and Kogasu Sunji. Some jonin are surprised by the team's placement, especially Team 7 who composed of the 3 students who fought for the place of the Rookie of the Year. Which had Naruto Uzumaki, the village pariah, vessel of the 9-tailed fox in the 3 top student but succeed the clone test with flying color. But the thing that attract most attention is Sai Shimura. Every jonin know that the family name is the same of Danzo, leader of the organization called Root, ex-member of the Konoha Council and Hiruzen's close friend. The third was suspicious that his old friend sent one of his Root agent in the academy for obvious reason. He even asked Haruka to report if the boy did something wrong but unlucky for the old man. Sai was a calm child and constantly wearing fake smiles and drawing in his notebook. Actually Hokage-sama, I've a request to ask, she said bluntly for every jonin's surprise. What it is Natsuhi-san? Hiruzen asked. I want Naruto Uzumaki in my squad, she replied seriously for the elder man and the scared Chunin's surprise. Can I ask why? This is odd to make a changing, Hiruzen added. He was curious by the strange request made by the foreigner. This is a little bit unfair that we put the 3 strongest rookies in the same team when another teams could benefit. I read the files and I found a bit odd to put Naruto Uzumaki with Shin Hatake and Sasuke Uchiha. Normally, a team like this need a balance. Uzumaki had a good chakra control with a chakra superior that any Chunin. He could easily work with others, his ninjutsu skills are very impressive and smarter than he looks. But he is quite headstrong and his position as vessel can compromise his training. Hatake had proficiency with ninjutsu and taijutsu. His intelligence could be very helpful for the team but prideful and very competitive with Uzumaki and Uchiha, although this is quite minor but could cost their life in a mission. Uchiha is a special kind, she can be benefit for the team but she didn't have any interest to work with another and she also possesses the competitive side and arrogance of the Uchiha clan. So I asked again, this a little bit unfair to put the strongest genin of this class in a single team. Kakashi may be an excellent teacher for Shin and Sasuke because they share the same clan and he had the Sharingan, but what about Uzumaki? The jonin are perplexed by the declaration of the purple foreign jonin. Hiruzen stares the purple jonin coming from Hoshi. He remember a time when the village needed his help but him and the Konoha council refused to help since many hidden village didn't consider their village like a true ninja village, which resulting the death of 90% villagers with the ninja and Hoshikage by unknown group of village. He didn't feel bad too for not helping, although the village could have allies and accept Natsuhi for her star release, which could be benefit if she would married someone from the village, but that not the case since he vowed to never get married again after the death of her husband and son. He didn't wish the death of many lives but the village came first and they couldn't deal with another war. I thought many time about the team and I came in the conclusion that was best for Konoha. You may not aware but Naruto Uzumaki is the vessel of the 9-tailed fox and an important tool for the village. He may not show any influence from the fox, his loyalty toward the village is questionable. I decide to put under Kakashi's care because he had the Sharingan. The Sharingan is also known to control a tailed beast, but as you said, he can be very beneficial with the other teams, but this is also for Konoha's image. This sentence made the Jonin confused. We have the assault team and strongest team, composed of the legendary Kakashi of the Sharingan. A young prodigy coming from the same clan. The last loyal Uchiha and one of the last who possesses a true Sharingan, and finally the vessel of the nine-tailed fox, and also in the position of the strongest rookie. Everyone will fear them, admired them, with the potential to become the next generation of Sannin. For the next 2 months they will train with other teams to help them to become great ninjas. Natsuhi stays silent for a couple of minutes after listing the old man until she stares at the silver-haired Jonin who doesn't seem to care about everything, but she didn't let the appearance fool her. Hopefully this Team 7 don't become another tragedy. I've nothing to say, Natsu said as she glanced one more time the silver-haired Jonin. All you can dismiss expect you Kakashi and Natsuhi. The other Jonin nodded their head and left the room expect the two named Jonin who stand in front the elder man. Hiruzen stand up and look the window. He took a deep breath and speak without turning his back. This is a reason why I call you and made the team. You see, I worried for the future of the village but also some newly ninja. Naruto cut any contact with me, and every time I tried to reach out to him, he pushed me away and he stopped trying become friends with the others except for Hinata Hyuga and Yakumo Kurama. I'm scared that Naruto doesn't consider Konoha his home and someday become just like Orochimaru or even worse. I know that Naruto will have no problem working with others except that his attitude could affect the team, especially with Sasuke Uchiha. Kakashi, I need you to make sure Naruto doesn't fall in the darkness and become the kind of ninja that Minato and Kushina wanted him to be. Hi Hokage-sama. Kakashi felt ashamed that he never was there for the young blonde. He was too depressed that he forgot the son of his sensei, his last connection. Losing his sensei and a woman who he saw like a big sister was very harsh on him and causing him to join the Anbu to deal with the pain, but this was redemption. He could repair what he did and have a relationship to the young blonde. What about Sasuke Uchiha? This is another reason why they are in the same team. Sasuke and Naruto are childhood friends, but Naruto, for reasons I don't understand, cut her off, but if the two spend time together and become rivals, this will benefit the both of them. She's still affected, so be really careful with her. Kakashi nodded his head as Hiruzen turns his head toward Natsuhi. As you Natsuhi, the reason I place you those genin with you is they don't trust any Konoha citizen or ninja including me. Natsuhi was confused, how 3 fresh genin couldn't even trust the Hokage. I don't understand how 3 children couldn't an authority figure. Why this is special about those 3 genin? The old Hokage sighed and speak. The problem with Yakumo Kurama is that 3 years ago, her father came to me to helping with his daughter condition since her body was very weak at this time. I sent Kurenai Yuhi to help her by learning genjutsu, but the kekkei genkai of her clan is quite volatile and an accident happened, but nothing happened, but Yakumo was deeply affected. I tried to talk with her but she refuses any contact with me and Kurenai. Kogasu Yuzuki and Rugo Nara are future loose cannons. Loose cannon. Kakashi, do you remember what happened after the Uchiha massacre? Kakashi thought for a while as he suddenly remembered what topic the elder Kage speak. You mean about 10 pair Sharingan stole in the morgue? The elder Kage nodded his head when the purple-haired Jonin was completely lost. What you do mean stole? Why someone would steal the pair of eyeballs in their own village? That didn't make any sense. After all of the Uchiha clan except Sasuke fell on the blade of Izumi Uchiha and everyone died. The council and me go at the conclusion that the Sharingan needed to be sealed, otherwise our enemies could invade us, take the eyeball, or even worse, the last loyal Uchiha we have. But something happened when we transferred the corpses. The persons in charge was putted in a powerful genjutsu only match by Shisui Uchiha. Did you found who did this? Hiruzen shocked his head negatively. Unlucky, we never did found who stole the eyes, but one Anbu found 5 suspects with overwhelming evidence and no alibi. Some reports said that they was trafficking with an infamous missing nin Orochimaru. The 2 Jonin's eyes widened at the mention of one of the Sannin and one of the most powerful ninja in this era. Natsuhi heard the rumors about the snake sage and the twisted experimentation on his own kind. Only a twisted individual can admire his work. The suspects are the parents of the two genin, I suppose. Hiruzen nodded his head in agreement. Indeed. And to prevent a future mistake of this kind, usually we will send them to blood prison for a certain amount of time, but the council came to the idea that Orochimaru could prevent that, so we. Natsuhi finished his sentence. Execute them publicly at the sight of all villagers to show an example for the greedy ones who think they can steal the village property. Kakashi remembered the execution permanently. Konoha never was active for that kind of practice. Even at the beginning of the village, but during the reign of Tobirama, but it was quite suggested. I tried to explain to the traitors' families, but you see they didn't take it very well. I'm very regretful for what I did, but I will do anything for the sake of this village. The life of 5 people can't be compared to thousands of people. Natsuhi did understand her position, but she didn't agree to the reasons of the old Hokage. I want both of you to have reports on your team every month, and if they're progressing or if they regress. Both Jonin nodded their head and left the room without any words, leaving the old cage with Iruka. Are you alright, Hokage-sama? Hiruzen Sarutobi didn't reply as he returned his attention to the window and sighed deeply as he feels his old age. What you will think of me, Minato? Will you blame me for Naruto's condition, or if take 5 innocent lives for protecting the village by creating a lie? The third Hokage thought. That was quite a bummer. Naruto was about to show us his sky release and this bimbo had to followed us. Yelled an annoyed Yakumo with Hinata at her side in the street of Konoha in the afternoon. Naruto decided to stop their training to be at their team selection, although he decided to still help Ino to succeed, the first step to change your chakra nature. Naruto could refuse but can't deal against the puppy eye jutsu, which Yakumo decided to use later on the blonde. This is what Naruto-kun does best, helping others when needed. I just hope that we will see each other. Hinata didn't show it, but she was quite nervous about tomorrow. Like Yakumo, the white-eyed young girl know that the chance of being in the same team of the blonde are really slim, same thing with her brown-haired best friend. I'm pretty sure we do. I mean, no way Naruto could support Miss Ice Queen all the time and he'd promise us to reveal what he capable. Only us, and nobody can change the fact that all of us after mission are training together. Naruto can also create both clone just to see us, so I'm not that worried. Yakumo smiled a bit. It will be weird not seeing Hinata and Naruto every day, especially if she is paired with strangers. She can handle herself in public, but the brown-haired young girl had difficulty making new friends or to trust someone, but the blonde did break her shell a bit. I hope so too. Why, Yakumo-san? We can see each other at Ichiraku Ramen after every training session in M mission. I just still hope that Naruto-kun can be paired with one of us. It was pretty obvious that the dark blue-haired girl crushed very hard on the blonde. Only someone blind or an idiot would say the opposite. She was not blind enough to let her jealousy take over and curse any girl that the whiskered blonde will have for a teammate, although she will be very annoyed if it's Sasuke Uchiha was in the same team. Me too. I'm quite curious to who is going to be my teammates. The two young girls continued their conversation as they completely ignored the glance of the white-eyed little girl who started her older sister with envy. Big sister. Meanwhile, third training ground. So what do you want to show me, Ino? The two blondes stayed in the training field at Ino's request. Naruto was annoyed and yet curious why the blonde requested his presence. Ino was with her fangirls, even they treated them with respect as to not hurt their feelings, but he still felt very annoyed. A secret technique from my clan that was lost from many generations. I got curious and I taught myself, since nobody in my clan has knowledge of this. Here I am. Ino take a deep breath and made a strange sign and gathered chakra, and for Naruto's surprise, and purple stared to glow in her palm. Mind release. Mind blast jutsu. A ray of purple chakra erupted from her hand, hit a tree that shattered in half in a couple of seconds. The platinum blonde sweated but happy of the result, then she turned to the another blonde who was completely shocked for what he witnessed. How did you do that? I never see a jutsu like that, Naruto asked. You can call that mental chakra or psychic energy. Basically I can change my chakra and use psionics such as telekinesis, telepathy. This just you can hurt mentally and touch your nervous system or physical. I have to be really careful since that damages my brain. But what do you think, Naruto-kun? Naruto was lost in his thought. To think someone like Ino can learn in jutsu like that made wonder what happen if she reach her full potential, and there are more kekkei genkai than I thought. But at least I know clans have more secret than they show, but if Ino's clan have cool psychic just you, why nobody use them? To think I was special about my sky release, Naruto remarked as Ino tried to grab his attention. What it is, Ino? I said, what did you think about my jutsu, Naruto-kun? She asked, annoyed with a bossy tone, and puffed her cheeks. Ah, that was awesome. Who knew you can reach that kind of level? You're more better than most girls in class, he replied with a fox grin. Stop it, Naruto-kun, you will make me blush. Ino hid the red blush on her cheeks when Naruto sighed, happy to find a nice save. That was close. I just hope that I will get anything but her on my team, Naruto said as he thinking about tomorrow. Next day, Konoha Academy. The freshly graduated students talked loudly how they were excited about becoming ninjas and wondered who was going to paired with who. Most of them hoped to pair with Sasuke or Shin, and even Naruto. Speaking of Naruto, the blonde was deeply concentrated in his Fuinjutsu book. At his side was Hinata, who was eating his cinnamon roll, and Yakumo was drawing on her notepad. Haruka looked over his class with pride. Another generation of ninja that will carry the will of fire. He put his attention onto the blonde. He knew that Naruto was coming from very far. He first started as the dead last in his class and then became one of the 3 strongest students. Haruka could help but feel glad and proud that Naruto worked hard to get to where he was at, and yet, even he become distant, more calm, and stopped his pranks. He's the same Naruto that walk in this class. Then, Haruka cleared his throat as a sign to get everyone's attention on him. Starting today, all of you are not academy students but full-fledged ninja. But in the ranks of ninja you all are in the lowest rank in ninja hierarchy. However, the first step has now been made and your greatest challenges are now ahead of you. For the next stage, you 27 genin will be assigned into 3-man squads, with each squad being assigned a jonin, who will supervise and continue your training from here. But don't forget one thing. Everything you do will reflect our village, and I want you to wear them with pride and make the village proud. Shinobi are born and raised, grow and die. They fight and protect their village. We may not share the same blood, but everyone in the village is a part in the same family. I want you to make your village, your family proud. Many genin are awed by the speech of Haruka, except for a couple of people including Naruto and Yakumo, who seemed to glare her drawing for some reason. If Naruto didn't meet the Sky Demon, he will probably share the same ideas, wasting his potential for hypocrites who hated a child for the only crime to be born on the same day of the Nine Tails attack. Naruto decided to follow his own nindo without any influence by words or let someone decide his fate. Then, Haruka stared the team placement. Naruto didn't put any attention for Team 1 to 6 until he heard the first name came up for Team 7. Team 7 will be Uchiha Sasuke, Hitaki Shin, Uzumaki Naruto. Haruka stopped to see the reaction of each member of Team 7. Shin simply shrugged. He was hoping to be paired with his best friend Sun or Hinata, but he didn't feel disappointed either. He was eager to see the true result of his team. Sasuke simply had a satisfied smirk on her pale face. She had the blonde in her team and that was matter for her. She don't really care about Hitaki, although she was quite glad that the last member is not one of her many fanboys. Naruto was the only one who didn't share the news positively. He hit the desk with his head repetitively when Yakumo patted his back for moral support. I hate my life, he said with a low voice. Don't worry, Naruto. It could have worse than Sasuke. Yakumo was annoyed. She couldn't help but feel pissed about the team selection, a feeling that Hinata shared as well. Haruka's sweat dropped at the whiskered blonde reaction. He expected something more loud, but this was quite weird, even for Naruto. Alright. Team 8 will be Hyuga Hinata, Aburame Shino and Inuzuka Kiba. Team 9 is still in circulation, so Team 10 will be Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru and Akamichi Choji. Team will be Haruno Sakura, Shimura Sai and Sarutobi Sun. And lastly, Team 12 will be Kurama Yakumo, Nara Rugo and Kosugu Yuzuki, the last team attract the whiskered blonde attention. He never heard the names of Yakumo's future teammates since he arrived in Iruka's class. He looked at the students in the class only to see two young boys his age standing in at the bottom of the class with different emotion on each face. Kosugu Yuzuki was a young boy with spiky orange hair, which is kept in strands jutting outwards in every direction, and a smaller, frontal cowlick tuft of hair partially hanging over his forehead. He has slanted, slit-pupiled, hazel eyes and light tan skin. He seemed to wear a sleeveless, gold-trimmed, red waistcoat, often left open and untucked, exposing his bare chest. Beige pants with a kunai holder on his right leg, black sandals and bandages on his right arm and arm with a red forehead protector worn as a belt. Rugo was a young boy with rather messy black hair, which almost reaches down to his shoulders, and his hair is brushed to the right side of his face covering up his right brown eye. He wears a loose-fitting two-toned white kimono jacket with sleeves that reached his wrist, tied by a thick black belt, and a pair of black pants and black sandals. Naruto could help but feel a strange feeling with those two as the orange-haired boy saw his curious glance and let a small grin on his face, waved his hand at the blonde. When the black-haired boy simply didn't any interest in the class. Strange, he returned his attention to the scared Chunin saying that they have to wait there Jonin-sensei. But he returned to his attention to Yakumo, who seemed to be surprised as well by her teammates. The blonde vessel didn't know why, he felt a burning sensation in his stomach. 1 hour later, the member of Team 7 waited patiently for their sensei when the other teams already leaving Naruto, Sasuke and Shin in the almost empty classroom. Naruto was reading his notes about seals, Shin stares the ceiling lazily, and Sasuke was silently fuming against their late sensei. How someone can be late at this important date, she looks at her teammates. The whiskered blonde was reading something and the silver-haired boy was about to play with his kunai. Normally she will not care and lose herself in her thoughts, but since it was her chance to restart with the blonde, she will take it. This is a waste of time. I don't want to wait for 2 more hours about someone who don't have any manner to be in time. I will eat something. Someone want to join me? Naruto and Shin raised their head at the raven-haired girl declaration. I guess that will not be bad. We could have our first meal as a team, Shin said as he finally stopped playing with his kunai when Naruto stares his new teammates with suspicious. He never heard Sasuke said the words eat and join me in the same phrase. He was a little upset by the team placement, but he had to get over it. He couldn't let his emotion and past experiences control him, and he was quite hungry as well. I think this the first time that you said something that I agree, Tem. We can eat at Ramen Ichiraku. This is not very far and this cheap, Naruto stated. Shin tapped his chin as he finally let a small smile on his face. It'd been a while since me and Son eat there, so why not? He knew that Naruto stared to made effort to be civil with them. His rivalry was only based on their strength and Hinata's attention, but deep down, the silver-haired Hatake knew that Naruto was a good guy despite what everyone in the village said about him. Then, perhaps he could develop a friendship with the blonde and the last loyal Uchiha. He almost laughed at the thought of becoming friends Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto sealed his notes in a seal on his forearms only to be taken away by Sasuke. Naruto was completely confused by the black-haired girl action. Hey, what are you doing, Tem? Naruto asked. I hungry and you take too much time. Girls like me don't like to wait, especially when you're the ones who will pay for me, she replied with a smirk. The whiskered blonde glanced at the last loyal Uchiha if she's grown a second head and yelled for what the reason why he should paid when the silver-haired boy simply chuckles at the view of his teammates. Well, look, things will never get boring with those two. 2 hours later. That's hit the spot. I think we all did the right decision. The teacher is not even here, Shin stated as Team 7 arrived to the empty classroom only to find empty again. I found this dish quite good, but you have to moderate dobi. Eating that kind of food will have an impact on your diet, Sasuke remarked as Naruto rolled his blue orbs. Since Iruka made the teams, the black-haired girl seemed to be more talkative for Naruto's liking. He did find surprising at first, but that start to get annoying. You didn't need to remind me, Tem. But why you don't give some life advice to Shin? I sure we would like to listen. Sasuke didn't say anything as she stared at his blue orbs. Naruto started to feel awkward until she finally responded. Hitaki doesn't need any advice, but you on the other hand. You may be one of the strongest genin in our year, but you have some issues to deal with. You need someone who can deal with your antics and make sure that you act like a proper shinobi. You should feel grateful that I put my attention on you. Sasuke was smirked mentally. Her first attempts to befriend the blonde was success. She still needed some works, but she was satisfied at the end. At this rate, she will reach another step in her goal. Naruto's eyes narrowed. He was about to reply at Sasuke, but someone entered in the room. It was a man with the standard Jonin outfit, with a mask covered his face and his headband covering his right eye. He had spiky silver hair, dark gray eyes, and typically a relaxed, heavy-lidded expression. "Team 7 inches?" he asked with a bored tone. The three genin stared the Jonin with as they could believe at what they seeing. They waited for 3 hours and all they got was a man who doesn't look professional and very bored. Yes, Cyclops. Naruto waited for a reaction from the Jonin, but sadly for him, the Jonin didn't react at all and seemed to completely ignore the blonde. "My first impression of you," he paused for a moment to build up suspense. "I don't like any of you." The three genin deadpanned and couldn't believe it, the words of the man, as they all thought in the same time. "That's our sensei, he's nothing like a badass. I heard rumors about Kakashi-san, but I was hoping that they are not true. Konoha have pretty low standard when they choosing their jonin. Alright, since we're all here, why don't all introduce yourselves?" Kakashi suggested in tone that sounded like he didn't really care who they were. The three genin and the jonin was in the room in the academy building for any kind reason. Kakashi was sitting on the rail when the three genin sat on the step. Naruto on the right, Shin in the middle and Sasuke in the left. "Why you shouldn't introduce yourself to us first?" Shin asked. "Oh me? Sure, why not? My name is Hitaki Kakashi, my likes. I don't feel like telling you that. Dislikes, or none of your business. Dreams for the future. Well, I have lots of hobbies." The three genin sweat dropped by the man's declaration. He only said his name, they all thought in the same time. "Now let's start with Goldilocks over here," he pointed at Naruto. The blonde frowned at the nickname the jonin gave him but decided to ignore it. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto. My likes are training, ramen, making seals, taking care of plants, Hinata-chan and Yakumo-chan. My dislike are the time to cook a ramen, arrogant fools, rapists, people who can make the difference between a kunai and a scroll. It's sealed into 80% of the villagers," he said with a darker tone that surprised the two genin. Expect Kakashi who understand what Naruto was referring to. "My hobbies are training, learning and training with Fuinjutsu and hanging out with my friends. My dream for the future." Before meeting Boreas, his dream was to become Hokage and have the people acknowledgement, but stopped after learning the hard truth. But then, he befriended Hinata and Yakumo and her parents, who were nothing but nice with him. Then, he thought about his father figure, who raise him and treat him like son despite the race difference. "Is to make someone important proud of me." Kakashi raised an eyebrow as he couldn't figure who the blonde was thinking of. He knew that was not the third Hokage since they not talk in years, or Iruka. He is quite different from what the third or his teacher in the academy said about him. He reminds me a bit of Sensei and Kushina-san. The jonin made a mental note to watch the blonde over more carefully. But he was glad that the blonde has someone to care about him. "Alright then, next," Shin started to talk. "My name is Hitaki Shin, my likes are training, hanging out with Sun, Dango and animals. My dislikes are peoples who treat animals and people like trash and try to justify their actions for it, bullies and arrogant peoples. My dream is to make my clan proud and become a legend like the Silver Fang or the Sannin. And my hobbies are training, learning new justice and kenjutsu." Kakashi could help but feel proud that someone wants to a legend like his father. He would help this teams to become legends. "Lastly, Emo Queen over here." Sasuke glared the sliver-haired jonin as our two teammates glance at her with curiosity. She take a deep breath. She need to show that she was not someone unsocial and to have Naruto's friendship. she will have to share a little bit of herself. My name is Uchiha Sasuke, my likes are training, tomatoes and certain someone, she said with a certain amount of pink of her cheeks that caused the eyes of Naruto and Shin nearly popped from their orbit. I have a ton of dislikes and I don't have a dream but an ambition. The resurrection of my clan and kill and surpass a certain someone. As Sasuke finished her speech, her teammates and the Jonin had varying reactions. I remember that her clan was wipe out her own sibling but I need to found who she's like. Shin glanced the black-haired girl like a predator who waits to his prey to make any movement. Who knew she liked tomatoes? Naruto thought, but was curious why the Ravenet want to kill the person who killed her clan since sometimes when he slept, he dreamed of 2 pair of red eyes with 3 tomo. Like I thought, Kakashi sighed. The Jonin had to figured out he could change the path of the black-haired girl. But I think this is a beginning, he remarked that Sasuke stares discreetly the whiskered blonde who didn't put any attention. So far the introduction. Tomorrow we will start our duties as shinobi. What kind of duties? Naruto asked, eager to finally show his skills as a ninja. First we are going to do something with just the 4 of us, a survival exercise. Kakashi looked over at the different reactions, most it was surprise. However, Naruto was not convinced. Survival exercise. We already took those back in the academy. This isn't in normal training like you see in the academy. This time I'm going to be your opponent, Kakashi stated with an unseen smirk. Then, what kind of training is it? Sasuke asked. Kakashi started to chuckle, causing the 3 students to give him odd looks ranging from confusion to consternation and annoyance. What's so funny, sensei? Shin asked. Well, it's just that, when I tell you this you guys are totally going scared, Kakashi laughed once more. Sasuke glared at the man fiercely. Try me. Fear is unknown in my vocabulary. Oh don't worry Sasuke I will, Kakashi declared before becoming serious. Of the 27 graduates that made it this far, only 9 will actually be accepted as genin. The other 18 will be weeded out and sent back to the academy. In other words, this make it or break it pass-fail test, with the chances of passing being at least 66%. Shin's widened as he started to worry for his friend since if only 9 genin pass the test, the other have to start again. Which mean that Sun will have to start again. The black-haired was confident that her team will succeed this test with flying colors. After all, the team was composed of the strongest genin in the class. Naruto was about to asking why but he preferred to listen the Jonin explanation. Anyway, tomorrow I'm the one who gets to decide whether you 3 pass or fall. Be at training ground 7 at 5 AM. You have to show your skills on the training ground and bring all your gear and weapons. The sliver-haired Jonin paused for a moment before giving them the clincher. And skip breakfast, all of you will throw up. Then, the Jonin disappeared in puff of smoke leaving the 3 genin in their thoughts. Another test. I can't train my seals overnight or read my notes. I need all my energy and concentration to fight with this guy. I hope Hinata-chan and Yakumo-chan will succeed. There is no way the 3 of us can fail this test but I need to warn Sun and no way I will let my best buddy fail at this test. I came this far and no way I will fail this test. She sent a last glance to the whiskered blonde who was lost in his thought and let a small smile on her pale face. With Naruto, there is no reason to fail, she leaves the roof with a satisfied smirk. So have to defeat your sensei to pass or you have to start again. What a waste of money and time. There is no way a genin could defeat a jonin even someone at your level, don't take this a game Naruto. Jonin are not pushovers and since your sensei is Kakashi of the Sharingan, you need to find a way to counter his Sharingan, the white-haired demon said as he exterminated one of the technique on the scroll in their living room when Naruto was watching the TV. I have to prepare at anything. He didn't look strong but if everything you said to me was indeed true. I have to be very careful if he used his Sharingan. My best chance are to use my speed and sky release at the right moment. He doesn't know that I can manipulate air itself, Naruto added. But beware fish cake. Hitaki know 1,000 of jutsus and is an ex-member of the Anbu. Perhaps, you should works together with your teammates. You may not win, but all of you will have a better chance, Boreas stated, causing the whiskered blonde to flinch. As if Sasuke will work me or Shin. This girl had the biggest ego in the village and the biggest cold bitch in the entire country. This girl will work if she had something in return, although, lately she start to be more open with me, Naruto simply said. Boreas's eyes widened as he had sly grin in his face. Well, this is interesting. But beware, Foxy. If this is one thing that I learn after all this centuries is that women are more devious and patient than men. They need to create complicated plans to have what they want, and they don't really care about how much that will take to succeed. Naruto looked at the demon as he raised an eyebrow. You sound that you talk about experience, Boreas. You meet a woman like that. The demon of calamity simply smiled and ruffed the blonde's head. You have no idea, Fishcake. I could explain, but you need to be in shape, and I don't care what he said. No way you will fight with an empty stomach. Are you going to listen a man with almost 30 years of life experience over a demon who lives and see many battles and pointless wars? And don't forget, Naruto, beside every man hides a woman, and don't fall with love in the first one who walks away. Naruto stares at him as he grow in second head until he shrugged and saying goodnight, leaving Boreas alone in the living room as he stares the window with a sad smile. Sasuke Uchiha, huh? Another mess with this clan again, huh? He returned his attention to the scroll, trying chase off old memory that he tried to not remember.